Hello and welcome back to the Yes You Can Have It All Summit. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, and I'm one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, along with my two sisters, Trish Carr and Susan Winner. And we have the pleasure in this series of interviewing some extraordinary thought leaders, experts, and quite frankly, pretty cool people who are sharing with us tips on having it all. And today I have the pleasure of introducing you to a new friend, Miss Kathleen Hendrickson. Hi there, Kathleen.
Hi there, Nancy. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's my absolute pleasure. And I say you're a new friend because you're relatively new to Women's Prosperity Network. Isn't that right?
That's right.
How did you find out about it?
Well, Linda Springer, a WPN member for some time, was telling me about her favorite networking groups, and WPN was on the top.
Yeah, I like that. And I am so grateful to Linda for bringing you in, because when we talk about having it all, you come to us with a vast and high level of experience, education, and mastery. And what you're going to be sharing today is something that people aren't really talking about, or there's only a few people really talking about it. So stay tuned, my friends. This is going to be a hot interview, hearing some things about having it all, about our lifestyle that you probably haven't heard before. So I'm excited. And let me share a little bit about your background, and then we'll dive into the conversation. So Kathleen Hendrickson holds a Master of Arts in Educational Psychology and Counseling from the University of Nebraska. Early in her career, she experienced and understood two abiding facts: the importance of the mind-body connection to bring personal transformation for optimal being, and that we are wired to be social beings. We evolve and actuate through our relationships. No wonder we get along so well. She's accomplished in cognitive and system psychotherapy and the energetic practices of emotional freedom technique, Aura-Soma color therapeutics, and Reiki 2. She balances her experience with Zen Buddhism's serene reflection and a contemplative practice of Richard Rudd's Gene Keys. Kathleen brilliantly offers a personalized confidential program to discover the genius in your genes. You can access your innate DNA encoded GPS, which is your genetic positioning system, to bring you to deeper, more satisfying and lasting experiences in your work, your relationships, and your daily life. The practice that she teaches is 3 easy steps to action. And what's that ACT stand for?
Okay. Awareness, contemplation, which brings us to transformation.
Right. We start with awareness. Yeah. So
yes,
you have so much experience in this field, of work with so many people. When we think about the concept of having it all, it feels to me that people are often searching outside themselves to find that. And you're saying something else is really the way to go, right?
I'm saying it. I have to say, I was blown away when I really began to get it, that the more I was self-reflective about myself and my innate programming, my encoding, and got in touch with myself and taking care of myself in terms of contemplation, it changed my relationship with everyone around me, and especially my relationship with myself.
Yeah, which is the most important one, right? That's who gets to decide if we have it all or not. Anyway, it's us. Right?
Well, as we have it all, then we can give to others in a much higher level of higher capacity.
Which is what we all want to be doing. So it causes me to ask, this isn't personality types, right?
No, not at all. We are, well, it's tied to our astrology and our birth, and we also are influenced by the historical milieu in which we're born, and what was going on with our parents when they conceived us. Children conceived in fear may carry that into their experience throughout life, most likely do. So that there are all these factors that actually are innately a part of us. And that's the GPS concept, the inner GPS.
You talk about awareness, contemplation, and transformation. So can you dive into each of those as it applies to the gene keys?
All right. So awareness begins with just taking a deep breath and relaxing and calming oneself, becoming even just the breath a little more centered, sometimes even noticing the tips of our fingers or if our feet touch the ground, but really coming into our body to sort of bring our brain into our heart, basically, and just noticing, even if it's 30 seconds, just noticing what's going on inside myself. How am I experiencing some area of my body? Am I experiencing stress? And that's the beginning of the awareness.
Right. What are you feeling? So if you're feeling stressed out or overwhelmed, if you don't know it's happening, you don't have a chance to shift it. Right?
Yes, and typically, I think we all will notice, oh, I'm nervous today, and I'm going to get through it. I'm going to plow through it. When in fact, if we stop and breathe and, oh, I'm nervous today, then awareness is coming to it so that we can do something with it, not just push it back in or cause it to even get stronger.
Right. That's a powerful teaching right there. And so awareness, contemplation, let's talk about that aspect. Is that kind of like meditation?
It's different in that we're really using our centered mind to be open to explore the meaning of what we're feeling. And you can't have a monkey mind going on. If you're really focusing it in your body, then you start to think, well, what is this tight gut feeling that I have? Or I'm having a tickle at the top of my head. What's that about? And by even asking these questions of our body and of our energetic field, we start to get answers.
So that's contemplation. So meditation is, the way I think of it, it's like you're trying to achieve nothingness as opposed to asking a question of your source knowledge, that knowingness.
Right. It's quieting the mind, always returning to the breath. And in this case, taking it a little further with contemplation, I use the Richard Rudd's Gene Keys as a source of reading this very profound universal truth, and it triggers my awareness in some new way, and then I sit, as do the people who use this tool. You begin to contemplate what you've just read and feel it in your body and feel how you can relate to it. They work together.
Tell us more about these Gene Keys and Richard Rudd, and how did you come to find all of this work? And it's not popular, right?
It's little known because it's relatively new. He spent 3 or 4 years, they're considered transmissions, creating this volume that relates to our astrology and to the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. He's from the UK. He's been on a spiritual journey his whole life. He's not a guru. He's an everyday kind of guy who lives an everyday kind of life, but he has created this volume of information that people are responding to.
So how does it work?
Well,
I want to be fixed now. Just tell me what to do.
Okay, well.
It doesn't work like that though, does it?
Nothing. This is a slower process, but it's a lasting process. That's the transformation part. Is when things make sense to us. That's where the transformation comes, and it can come in little pieces or it can come in the big ahas. But with each little seed of transformation is significant change, and it builds over time.
Well, and you mentioned something powerful right here, that how that shows up for me is I went when I was in a dysfunctional marriage, or it was a marriage, whatever, whatever label I'm giving it. And I went for therapy and I went to counselors and and I never really got to a place where I felt whole and complete in that journey. It felt like it was more about, finding out and I didn't believe everything the therapist said. And when I've had major breakthroughs in my life, it's when I felt the shift and the change, as opposed to someone telling me you should feel this or this is why that happens.
Exactly. When we feel it, it's an internal, it's the recalibration of that inner GPS, just to use the metaphor. You feel it, you know it. There's something called the life work, which is one of the gene keys out of the astrological chart. And my life work, there are 3 levels. There's the shadow level. It's that behavior that we have that is not really who we are, but it presents, it's what we've learned. And then there's the gift, and then there's a essence, or the siddha. So my life work key is codependence. And when I read Richard's book and found my life work, and I opened the book to that page and I saw codependence, there was immediate click that yes, this is me, because beyond that, the gift is sensitivity. I'm a very sensitive person to other people. I'm empathic. And also it's about interdependence and how important it is that each individual act from their own uniqueness with one another without telling other people who they are. We each discover who we are independently, but yet we're social and we reflect back to each other. And my life really changed significantly when I started to really see all the times I would be second guessing someone else, what they wanted or needed, because I was also empathic and I could see what I thought they needed, but they didn't need to hear it from me. They needed to discover it, and I needed to discover my own self.
Yeah, and that's the distinction here with this work that you do. How does one start this process?
Well, first of all, the profile, your hologenetic profile, is free, and one of the many things I like about Richard Rudd is he has taken this body of information and made it accessible to anyone who wants to find it. Mm-hmm. So that's available free. I also do it for people if they want me to work with them. But we go to the genekeys.net website and you can find your profile. And from that, it's recommended to buy his book, which is kept at a reasonable price considering the volume. Mm-hmm. And you can do a self-exploration. There are tools that are on the website. There's a Gene Key Society that has a membership fee. And there are people like myself who are putting the word out there. And I offer workshops and packages of individual work as well.
Yeah, and I can see the benefit of working with someone as such as yourself to kind of guide me through this, because I would imagine and one of the gifts I think you have, actually I've felt it from you, is your ability to see things that I may not see. Mm-hmm. There's a phrase that says something to the effect of, when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. And then you serve to help people see the frame to go beyond and create that transformation in their life.
That is my intention, to be of service in that way to others. But to see it and reflect it, but not engage in telling them what to do, others what to do.
Yeah. So share with me a little bit about, you've practiced this work, you've worked with clients with it. What kind of shift or transformation takes place? Can you describe how your life is different as a result of knowing the life work and the gifts?
Yes, I see it in myself and others, and bringing awareness to how we respond to others and how we respond to ourselves. If we wake up feeling um, negative and realizing, this is just a shadow, this is something coming up for me to observe and see, and then being able to release it. Um, so relationships change, the way we respond to people. A woman comes to mind who had done no work like this, and a year later, she is so much more aware. And she said to me just the other day, I am no longer a victim. I will never be a victim again. Because in 1 year, she really got it. And it wasn't me. It was me giving her this information and facilitating. But she went out exploring what she needed to do and the biggest thing was to become aware. And then out of that awareness, change the way she responded to others and thought about herself.
Well, and I can just see the shift, whether you're talking with clients or in your personal relationships. I mean, something as simple as you make a phone call to somebody to follow up with them and they say no, or they don't return your phone calls. What do you make that mean? That really determines the quality of your life and whether you're going to pick up that phone again. If I'm making up stories, they don't like me, I'm not good enough, I shouldn't do this, second guessing yourself, or snapping at your husband when you come home. I mean, being able to understand yourself in relation to others, I believe that is the key to having it all.
I believe so too. It's about accepting and liking myself, yourself, and knowing that you're okay.
Yeah.
That we don't need someone else to tell us we're okay. We experience it, we know it, we live it, we feel it.
Yeah.
And we make decisions and orient out of that knowing.
Yeah. And the work you do is to take people from not feeling okay with myself or not good enough and get them across the bridge to the other side where we're meant to live. It's how we start out in this world, and then somewhere along the way we get screwed up in the head.
Right. I guess I would say I shine the light on some of the shadow stuff, but it's all self-empowerment. It's making those choices. I sometimes have to remind people to continue with their contemplation, for example, or to keep at it. But it's self-reinforcing once you start doing the work. So I may be an accountability partner as well as my understanding of the keys.
All right, great. And I know you have a gift to support us in taking a next step. So share what that gift is. There'll be a link right here on the page where you can grab it. So tell me about it.
Well, it is 3 easy steps to action, and that's spelled capital A, capital C, capital T, action. And it's a simple guide to follow, to set up a contemplative practice. And I recommend doing it several times a day.
Not just once a day.
No, several times a day, and then it becomes habit and you do it regularly. The awareness begins to build.
So I'm going to do it when we finish the interview.
Okay.
That gift. And the whole concept of gene keys, like when you and I first talked and I heard about this, it feels like you're bringing science and awareness and concept, like it's bringing them together for who we really are on a cellular level as well as a spiritual level.
That seems to be the truth of it. And whether you come from either background, it really doesn't matter. It's based upon universal truths that have transcended time. And yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you for being with us today. And what is your website? We do have the link for her gift right here on the page, but please share what's your website so they can find out about working with you and, diving into this,
All right.
field.
All right. www.intuitivekathleenjoy.com.
Oh, I like that. So intuitivekathleenjoy.com.
Correct.
You can get her contact information. Is this work that has to be done face to face, or can we do Zoom or Skype over the phone?
Zoom, Skype, phone, any number of ways, yes.
Geography does not limit your ability to serve. I love that.
It does not. And this is becoming an international movement. You'll find it all around the world.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for being with us today. I appreciate you. I can't wait to do my 3 easy steps. And to our audience, thank you for joining us for this episode of Yes, You Can Have It All. Be sure to check back tomorrow for another powerful, transformational, and uplifting conversation. Have a great night, everybody. Bye. Bye, Kathleen.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.